A beautiful woman, just to get my attention, actually smashed my Rolls Royce in public. By the time I arrived, she wasn't the least bit flustered. She even batted her eyes at me flirtatiously and said, "I know I can't afford to pay for the damage, but I'm willing to repay you with myself." However, just when she thought I'd be seduced by her looks and accept her offer, I glanced at her with disdain. "And this car's damage is worth over $1 million. Do you really think your scrawny little body can cover that cost?" Chapter 1. I was sitting at the top floor of a luxury restaurant, enjoying dinner while gazing at the city night view. But before I was even halfway through my meal, the manager and floor supervisor rushed toward me. In panic, they came up to my table, bowed deeply, and then the manager spoke. "Why, young master, Michael, the car you parked in the ground floor garage, it was smashed. We got the person under control. Would you like to go down and take a look?" To be honest, I was startled when I heard that. Today I was driving my Rolls Royce on the road, and no one even dares to get too close, afraid of scratching it and having to pay for damages. I never imagined someone would be so bold as to actually smash my car. I put down my utensils and followed the manager to the first floor by elevator. There was already a crowd gathered around my car. The manager and floor supervisor helped me push through the crowd, and then I saw a pretty girl in a white dress standing by my car. It was Sophia. She actually showed up. I looked at her blankly and asked, "Did you smash my car?" Sophia brushed her hair aside and gave a soft, beautiful smile. She nodded and said yes. The manager was almost about to faint from anger. He shouted, "What kind of lunatic are you? Do you even know how much this car costs? You smashed it. Can you afford to pay for it?" "Young master, Michael, this really isn't the restaurant's fault." The security did try to stop her. Sophia didn't even glance at the manager. She just stiffened her neck, eyes slightly red, and stared at me. "I know it's expensive. I really can't afford it, but I can use myself to repay the cost of repairs." It looked like life had been tough for Sophia after her rebirth. Saying something this shameless and doing it in front of everyone, the crowd burst into teasing laughter, and Sophia blushed. I couldn't help but laugh. I said, "The damage is over $1 million. You think your skinny little body is enough to cover that?" Sophia looked at me in disbelief. She said, "Michael, look at my face. Don't you have anything else you want to say? Don't you feel something?" I gave her a puzzled look and said, "I don't even know you. You're just someone who owes me $1 million. What do you expect me to say? What am I supposed to feel?" Chapter 2. Sophia's face turned as pale as a sheet of paper. Honestly, I couldn't really blame her. After all, in her eyes, I had always been nothing more than her ultimate simp. In our previous life, I met her while on a trip. She was drowning, and I happened to save her. Back then, she was also wearing a white dress, looking as pure and delicate as a white lotus blossom. I fell in love at first sight. I chased her for 5 years before finally winning her over. But just 2 months after we got married, I was driving on the highway when my car suddenly malfunctioned. The brakes failed. Thinking I was about to die, I quickly picked up my phone and called Sophia. With a bitter smile, I said, "Babe, don't panic and don't be too sad. My brakes just failed. I'm on the highway right now. I might not be able to keep my vow to love you for the rest of my life." But Sophia laughed. She said, "Michael, should I call you naive or just plain stupid? How could a perfectly good car suddenly lose its brakes? That was my wedding gift to you. Bit late, I admit, but better late than never." I was stunned. For a second, I thought I must have heard her wrong. But Sophia wasn't done. She gave a small laugh and said, "And to be honest, I originally planned for you to die a few days later, but I'm already pregnant, and I can't have my child recognizing a simp like you as its father instead of his real dad, can I? But don't worry, my lover. Our baby and I will all be deeply grateful to you because you never asked for a prenup. Once your body is shattered beyond recognition, your entire fortune will go to us. We'll live a wonderful life, so rest in peace, Michael." "Oh right, you actually know who the real father is. It's your dear uncle. It's only right you gave your life for your nephew." And just like that, with my beloved wife's mockery still ringing in my ears, I drove off a cliff, exactly as she planned, and died with not even a corpse left behind. Chapter 3. I was still lost in those memories when Sophia suddenly walked up to me and grabbed my hand tightly. "Hey, Michael, look closely. It's me. I'm Sophia. I'm your future wife." The manager couldn't hold it in and snapped, Is she mentally ill? Sophia shot him a glare and said, "Shut up. Once Michael and I are reunited, you'll be kneeling on the floor begging me for forgiveness." The manager was speechless. Sophia locked eyes with me and said seriously, "I know I can't afford to pay for the damage right now, but just look at me. You will fall in love with me. We're meant to be. We're soulmates. I don't know why you didn't show up the day we were destined to meet, but that's why I came looking for you." To be honest, I hadn't noticed until now. This time, I never saved her from drowning, yet she was totally fine. So our so-called fateful encounter must have been a setup all along. I really was too foolish not to realize it. I threw her hand off me, coldly saying, "Save your delusional nonsense for the police. I don't need your body to pay off a debt. First of all, you're not worth that much. Second, I'll never fall in love with you. All I want is compensation for the damages." The onlookers around us couldn't hold back anymore. They began whispering among themselves. "Wait, it works like that? Then I'm gonna go find Daddy Elon. I happen to know his license plate number." "Nah, better go with Bill Gates. He's already divorced. No home wrecking involved. Get it now. If you like someone, just smash their luxury car first." "No way. This girl's got serious issues. Why does this feel like something out of a romance novel with a dumb but beautiful heroine? Haha, I thought it was going to be the overbearing CEO falls in love with me, but turns out it's the overbearing CEO sends me to jail." Chapter 4. Sophia's face turned red then white as she listened to the murmurs around her. She mumbled under her breath, "No way. You were supposed to fall in love with me at first sight. This was supposed to be the beautiful beginning of our story. How could it turn out like this?" She tried hard to keep her emotions in check, doing her best to appear calm. She said, "If you call the police now, you'll just have to work even harder to win me over later. You'll regret this. Don't call the police. I can go home with you and be your maid. I'll use my salary to pay for the car repairs, okay?" Naturally, I wasn't moved in the slightest. I picked up my phone to call the police, but just then, a hand reached out from the side and covered my screen. "Bro, don't be like this. It's just a car. You're not short on money. Look at this beauty crying her heart out like a damsel in distress. How could you not show her some mercy?" I turned to see it was James. I felt a rush of satisfaction, though I didn't show it on my face. Today's plan was going perfectly. James may appear to have nothing to do with me, but we both knew the truth. He was my father's illegitimate son. When my dad died, I ignored all opposition and had him cremated overnight. By the time James came to claim his share of the inheritance, all he found was a box of ashes. He couldn't prove he was the illegitimate child at all. He could only stand by and watch as all of my father's assets went to me. If it weren't for the generous benefits my father had given him before death, he wouldn't be living so freely now. From that phone call during the highway accident in my previous life, I could confirm one thing. My death back then had been a conspiracy between the two of them. Sure enough, when James reached out to help Sophia up, a deep affection flickered in both of their eyes. Sophia had never looked at me with eyes like that. Chapter 5. James, feigning chivalry, held Sophia's hand and turned to me, saying, "Come on, bro. Just let it go, all right? I'm sure this lady didn't do it on purpose. No need to scare her like this. If word gets out, people will say the Michael family is petty. Even when we're in the right, that won't help your reputation either." Sophia looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. That expression had been her ultimate weapon in our past life. Whenever she looked at me like that, I'd risk life and limb without hesitation. But now I just smiled and said, "Sure. Since you want to stand up for this young lady, how about you pay for the damages to my car?" James's face turned a bit awkward. "Bro, I never said I'd pay for her. I was just suggesting you show a little mercy. Wasn't that one of Dad's favorite sayings?" I laughed. "First of all, my dad is my dad. Don't go claiming him. Second, I'm an only child. I have no brother. Third, if I let her off today after she smashed my car, who's to say someone won't barge into my villa tomorrow or stir up trouble at my company the day after? Am I supposed to just keep tolerating everything?" James scoffed. "You've got so much money. What's the harm in letting it go?" I didn't argue. Instead, I smiled and said, "Sure. I'm rich, not stupid. Besides, you're rich too, aren't you? Since you're so eager to defend her like some white knight, why don't you pay for her?" James rubbed his nose and muttered, "Why? Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have meddled." He awkwardly stepped aside and said nothing more. As for Sophia, Her face looked like she'd just swallowed something foul. She looked left and right, clearly noticing that the crowd was growing and many were filming the scene live with their phones. Lowering her voice, she pleaded, "Michael, please. We're destined to be together. I can prove it. Just give me a chance." I nodded and said, "All right, then go ahead. Prove it." Sophia seemed a bit embarrassed. "Let's talk inside, okay? It's a secret. I can't let anyone else know." Chapter 6. I could pretty much guess what she was going to say, so I didn't refuse. Instead, I deliberately stopped James, who was about to leave, and said, "Come on. Stay and listen. Don't you love drama the most?" James wanted to go, but when he looked at Sophia, he couldn't bear to leave. He gave a sheepish laugh and followed me into the private room in the restaurant. As soon as we entered, Sophia couldn't wait to speak. "Michael, I know you were just embarrassed to admit it earlier in front of the crowd that you fell in love with me at first sight. But now there's no one else around. You don't need to suppress your feelings anymore. Look closely at me. I'm wearing your favorite outfit today, and use the perfume you like." Sophia leaned in beside me and said, "You once said no matter the situation, the moment you saw me, you'd fall in love. I know showing up like this startled you, but I had no other choice. This was the only way we could meet again and rekindle our bond." Of course, I knew that after being reborn, I had deliberately avoided the riverbank and stayed low profile. Sophia had tried countless times to approach me, but naturally, the security at my villa wouldn't let her in. If it weren't for some kind soul who told her I'd be dining here today and even gave her my license plate number, she might never have gotten close to me in this lifetime. But I didn't say anything. I simply smiled, sat down in a chair, and said, "Miss Stranger, just now you said you had a secret to prove something. Was your proof really just staring at me and waiting for me to fall in love with you on the spot?" As I spoke, the manager had already arrived with the police. I pointed at Sophia and said, "Officers, this woman smashed my car. The damages exceed 1 million. Now she's playing dumb. Please take her in for investigation." The officers didn't say much. After all, the surveillance footage was clear. Without hesitation, they each grabbed one of Sophia's arms and lifted her off the chair. "Ma'am, please come with us." Sophia immediately shouted, "No, I'm Mrs. Michael. No, I'm the future Mrs. Michael. Let go of me. Michael, look at me. You will love me. Don't suppress your feelings. You love me, right? Just admit you love me." She was crying uncontrollably, sobbing with snot and tears, completely stripped of the elegant goddess image she once had. But the police weren't moved. They simply took her away. Chapter 7. Finally, Sophia couldn't take it anymore. Out of nowhere, she mustered up some strange strength and locked the two officers outside the room. Crying, she said to me, "Actually, I'm a time traveler. I came back from 6 years in the future. I know everything about you, and I know what will happen in the next 6 years. As long as you marry me, I can help your business soar to new heights." Seeing that I didn't interrupt her and even looked mildly interested, Sophia seemed relieved. She continued, "Michael, 6 years from now, we're already together, married with children. But then you had a tragic car accident. I came back to save you. The reason I smashed your car was first to get your attention, and second, because that car is the very one you were driving when you had the accident. That car killed you, so I burst out laughing. What a shameless way to twist the truth. I said with a smirk, "I can't believe I wasted so much time talking to a lunatic. Let me make this perfectly clear. I could never love you. I don't care if you're pretending to be crazy or actually are, but the damage you caused must be paid for. If not, then get ready to go to jail." Sophia looked at me in disbelief, but to avoid prison, she had no choice. In the end, she revealed a string of secrets, things only I knew. James, who was listening nearby, looked more and more delighted as she spoke, but I remained unmoved. Instead, I smiled and said, "You really went all out to cling to me. You must have spent so much effort digging up information. How else could you know all these hidden things?" Sophia shook her head. After thinking for a moment, she said, "I know you've been hesitating over something recently, whether to invest in Morning Sun Corporation or Sunflower Corporation. No one else knows this, but I do. The right choice is..." Chapter 8. James' eyes darted as he quickly interrupted Sophia's words. "Hey, beautiful, forget it if he doesn't believe you," he said. "It's just 1 million we're talking about a car here. I'll cover it for you." I just can't stand some people throwing their weight around. Without any hesitation, James transferred the 1 million to me. Then, with exaggerated care, he helped Sophia up and attempted to leave the private room with her. Seeing that I had received compensation, the police simply gave Sophia a few words of advice, telling her not to act impulsively again, and left. Sophia still seemed hesitant, but realizing I truly had no interest in her, she had no choice but to follow James. Even as she left, she didn't forget to mock me. "Michael, you'll regret this. I was supposed to be your golden cheat code. One day when you're down and begging on your knees, I won't even bother turning back." Watching the two of them walk away, I finally let out a breath. Perfect. My plan had succeeded. James, Sophia, you'll learn what it really means to hoist a rock only to smash your own foot. A classic case of self-sabotage. After being reborn, I'd fantasized countless times about killing them, but murder is illegal, and a second chance at life is far too precious to waste on revenge through violence. So I dug deep. I found out James liked dining at this restaurant on weekends. Then, through a private investigator, I tracked all of Sophia's movements. When I saw her posting online asking for advice on how to win back your husband from a past life, I personally reached out, suggesting the idea of crashing my car. Because in my previous life, I treated Sophia far too well. She barely hesitated. She thought it was the perfect plan. If I didn't fall for her on site, she could still use the excuse of repaying debt to get close to her. It was a win. Win, no risk, all reward. Chapter 9. Soon enough, sparks flew between Jason and Emma. Following Emma's advice, Jason invested in Sunflower Corporation. To his credit, he didn't go all in, but even his modest investment brought substantial returns. Industry insiders praised his sharp eye for opportunity, and Jason practically worshipped Emma like a goddess of fortune. Meanwhile, I'd just like in the last life invested in Mornington Corp and lost everything. At an investment banquet, Emma appeared on Jason's arm, their expressions identical in smug condescension. Emma sneered at me. "I heard you lost big time. It's not like I didn't give you a chance that you're the one who blew it." Jason gave a faint smile and added, "Some people are just born pathetic. You try to explain things, but they'll never understand fate. So what if he schemed to stop me from claiming my father's name? I'll restart the family legacy with my name at the top of the genealogy. I'll make more money than our dad ever did. And when that day comes, you'll be the one begging me to be your little brother." I didn't bother responding. Dark-faced, I turned to leave, but Emma grabbed my wrist. "Why walk away with that sour look? Don't tell me you regret it now?" She mocked. "I'll never forget how you humiliated me over 1 lousy million, that you treated me like trash. I swear I'll hate you for life and wait for the day you go bankrupt." I simply smiled. "You're smug over earning a measly 10 million? Come talk to me when you've made tens or hundreds of millions. That's when you might have the right to ask if I regret it." Chapter 10. Emma's expression shifted. She knew my wealth wasn't shaken by a few failed investments. Exactly why. In the previous life, she'd married me despite not loving me. Even in this rebirth, she'd sought me out first, not Jason, because she wanted a shortcut to success. Standing on a giant's shoulders meant towering over others. But my reaction wasn't what she'd hoped. Though she couldn't make me regret anything, she couldn't stand losing face. Actually, I might as well tell you. I did time travel from the future, but I lied that I never loved you. In our past life, I married you without an ounce of feeling, and yes, I cheated. You were like a dog following me around, and I found you annoying. But since you took Jason's inheritance, I put up with it. Fortunately, heaven gave me a chance to help Jason reclaim what's his." Jason chuckled. "Babe, why waste breath on him? A frog in a well like him can't understand divine will. One day he'll kneel and beg for help. Won't that be satisfying?" Emma nodded. "You're right. Whatever happens to him is karma. I've written down all the profitable real estate projects for you." Jason was moved, fully believing her. They kissed passionately in front of me, with Jason throwing provocative glances to taunt me. Chapter 11. After the banquet, Jason on Emma's advice invested in a real estate project. Through my subtle manipulation, he reinvested all profits, mortgaged property and assets, and borrowed heavily, an all-out gamble. As Emma predicted, property prices soared when a subway line was rumored, making the project impossible to buy into. Naturally, They came to brag at my place. Jason lounged and said, "Heard your investment tanked. No bus stop nearby. Another massive loss." Emma scoffed, "Sweetie, don't waste time on him. He might copy your investment like a rat." Jason ignored her and looked around. "I like this house. Give it to me, Neil, and I'll let you partner in our project." Emma retorted, "Wait till he goes bankrupt that we can buy it cheap." I chuckled and pulled out documents. "Sorry to disappoint, but a top-tier school is being built next to my project. If you're waiting for me to fail, it'll be a long wait." Chapter 12. Before they could react, Jason's phone rang. His face fell as he answered. "What? Subway construction canceled? Why?" "Permits were approved." This project held his entire fortune. He hung up and slapped Emma brutally. "You bitch that you set me up." Emma looked stunned, trying to act cute, but Jason looked ready to strangle her. "It's blown. Investors pulled out. We're finished." Emma held her swollen cheek. "It's temporary. In the last life, new investors built offices and a plaza within 6 months, and prices surged again." Jason eyed her warily, but she snapped at me. "George, don't you dare buy into our development. We'll despise you." Jason raged. "Couldn't you say that privately? He might steal our plan." Chapter 13. I chuckled. "Relax. Your project is too small. Scale for me." They left half believing, but Emma's prediction failed. No new investors came, funding issues halted construction, and the project was abandoned at 6 months. Jason lost everything, drowning in debt. Meanwhile, my project soared in value in the city. In the previous life, I'd secretly revived this same failed project by building a plaza and offices to please Emma, who'd never known. Reborn, I'd lured Jason into trusting Emma, spending little to make them suffer greatly. Chapter 14. With their investment wiped out and debt collectors swarming, Jason and Emma skulked outside my villa at night. I ordered the butler and gardeners to beat them until Jason knelt sobbing. "Bro, I'm your real brother. We share blood. Help me. I'm in debt for a few dozen million. Nothing to you." I kicked his hand away. "Half a year ago, you said you'd take everything from me. Forgot how you mocked me at the banquet?" Jason shoved Emma like trash. "Blame her. She stopped me from asking for help and stirred drama." Emma retorted, "You hated George and wanted to kill him. That's why I helped you." Chapter 15. Jason was stunned as Emma twisted the truth. "George, I did it all for you. I knew the project would collapse and made Jason pay. I love you. How could I let you suffer? Now you can finally love me." Jason raged, kicking her to the ground and punching wildly. "George, I fell into your trap. Give me money, or I'll beat her to death." I watched calmly as Emma's pitiful glances failed. She was beaten until the police arrived, called by a security guard. Chapter 16. Jason was arrested for assault, and Emma was taken to the hospital. When she regained consciousness, she tearfully said, "You love me. That's why you came. If you'd acknowledged our relationship when I smashed your car, none of this would have happened." I laughed. "Ever seen MVP stats at the end of a game? That's what you are now. This broken version is the result of my work. Of course I came to see it." Emma realized. "You're reborn too?" I nodded. "I woke up on the day you faked drowning. I investigated and saw your online posts. I'm the one who suggested you smash the car, manipulate Jason, and reveal you were reborn." Her face drained of color as I detailed every scheme. Chapter 17. After a long silence, Emma snapped, "If you're reborn, you must still love me. Now that Jason's done, let's start over. I regret what I did in the past. Heaven gave us a second chance." She opened her arms for an embrace. I sighed. "You murdered me for your lover. Do you think I'd ever forgive you? I wish you could feel what it's like to fall off a cliff. But you're deranged that you think I'm pretending." "I won't forgive you," I said. "But I'll pay your hospital bill because I'm waiting for Jason to get out and see you rip each other apart." I walked out smiling. Chapter 18. Since Jason and Emma had registered their marriage during the 2 years they were together, the assault Jason committed against Emma was classified as domestic violence. As a result, he was detained for less than 6 months before being released. On the day of his release, I personally brought debt collectors to wait for him at the detention center gate. We stood shoulder to shoulder, chatting casually. When Jason walked out and saw us, his expression was more wretched than a cry. After that, I never saw Jason and Emma again, but I heard plenty about them. Unable to repay their massive debts, they were captured and beaten repeatedly. Debt collectors even sent me photos and videos, convinced that witnessing my own flesh and blood suffer might move me to show mercy. When I didn't respond, they sighed. The rich really have cold family ties. But it was precisely my lack of compassion that led to Jason and Emma being sold abroad. Though young and good-looking, their lives became worse than death. They endured non-stop torment and died within 3 years, rumored to have perished in agony. When I got the news, I felt nothing but satisfaction that at last, they'd paid for leaving me to die broken and dismembered in my past life. After their deaths, I bought the abandoned real estate project at auction and followed my previous life's plan to build a shopping mall and business district. Not only did I make a massive profit, but I also provided homes for families who'd lost everything in the failed development. Looking at the glowing lights and thousands of windows, I believe there will one day be a light that shines just for me. And my life will finally know happiness.